Hi, and welcome back to another motivational moment, you guys. And before I jump in, I just want to show you that my drink of choice for today is apple juice with a little ice in it. So, for the time that is ours to share, I want to talk about how to turn challenges into opportunities. So, there's an old Zen story about a king, and y'all gonna love this because I love this story when I heard it, whose people had grown soft and entitled. Dissatisfied with this state of affairs, he hoped to teach them a lesson. His plan was simple. He would place a large rock in the middle of the main road, completely blocking entry into the city. He would then hide nearby and observe their reactions. How would they respond? Would they band together to remove it, or would they get discouraged, quit, and return home? With growing disappointment, the king watched as subject after subject came to this impediment and turned away, or at best, tried half heartedly before giving up. Many openly complained or cursed the king or fortune or bemoaned the inconvenience, but none managed to do anything about it. And isn't that how life is sometimes? People will complain and complain and complain, but they don't do anything about it. So after several days, a lone peasant came along on his way into town. He did not turn away. Instead, he strained and strained, trying to push it out of his way. Then an idea came to him. He scrambled into the nearby woods to find something he could use for leverage. Finally, he returned with a large branch and he crafted it into a lever and used it to dislodge the massive rock from the road. Beneath, here it is, y'all. Here's the coup de grace. Wait for it. Beneath the rock were a purse of gold coins and a note from the king which said, "The obstacle in the path becomes the path. Never forget, within every obstacle is an opportunity to improve our condition." Y'all, that's powerful. So, what if you had the ability to flip your obstacles and turn them into opportunities? But before I move forward, I want to go back and read that one more time. The king's note said, "The obstacle in the path becomes the path. Never forget, within every obstacle is an opportunity to improve our condition." That's powerful right there. I'm going to put that in the description box. So let's jump in and look at what if we had the ability to flip our obstacles and turn them into opportunities. Number one, you could change your perspective. You choose how you look at things. How you approach an obstacle determines how hard it's going to be to overcome it. By controlling how you handle things, you're able to see things as they really are, but not how they really are, but not how you think they are. See, sometimes we encounter an obstacle and our mind tells us one thing, but that's not actually what's going on. So that's why it is always important to approach situations and try to figure out how you can overcome it. So you have a parent that doesn't want to pull their weight. Well, you don't let that get you down. You figure out how can you go around that. If you need to get a second job to bring a little bit more income into the home, then that's what you do. The obstacle is that parent not doing their part. But you go around that by getting you a part-time job to get more money coming into your home, or you just get rid of that parent and then that will alleviate that part. But that's a whole nother video for a whole nother time. Always remember, where your head goes, your body will follow. Perception precedes action. Can I say that one more time? Perception precedes action. So what you think comes before how you actually handle a situation. Right action follows the right perspective. Y'all, that's powerful. And here's a quote by Viktor Frankl, and it simply says, "Man does not simply exist, but always decides what his existence will be. what he will become the next moment. So I'll put these quotes in the description box as well. Number 2, find the positive in your negative. You guys, let me tell you something. This is something that my parents taught my sister, my brother, and I from the time we were little, to always find the positive in your negative. So there's always something positive that can be found in a negative situation. When your supervisor gives you a hard time daily, that's the negative, right? So this is the perfect opportunity to start updating your resume. Hello somebody, that's the positive, and start looking for another job. Because here typically this is what happens. As long as everything is cool on that job and you don't have any problems, nobody's bothering you, you're going to be content to sit right where you are. Oh, but once that negative comes along, that nagging supervisor, now it's time you take that negative and say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and start updating my resume and getting it out there because I can't deal with this anymore. And then there's a quote by Ingalls Wilder that says, "There is good in everything, if only we look for it." And that is so true. There is good in everything. Let me say this, because y'all know I don't like to say I don't care, but in this time I'm going to have to say it. I don't care what it is that you're going through, what it is that you're dealing with, what somebody said, what they didn't say. There is always good in everything. You just have to figure out what that good is. Number 3, keep moving always. Courage is nothing more than deciding to take action. You have to learn to say yes and then get started. Those things that you see as obstacles are less intimidating when you stop to look up at them with fear. So let's go back and unpack that just a little bit. So again, courage is nothing more than deciding to take action. When you say, oh, that person is so courageous, well, guess what? They just decided they were going to take action. They decided they weren't going to sit around waiting for something to happen or waiting for somebody else to make something happen. They were just going to go and do what they needed to do. And the things that you see as obstacles are less intimidating when you stop to look up at them with fear. So when you stop looking at the fear in something, it becomes less and less and less and less intimidating. But as long as you're fearful, that intimidation is way out to here. And so here's a quote by Theodore Roosevelt, and it simply says, "We must all either wear out or rust out. Every one of us. My choice is to wear out." That's powerful. Number 4, it's okay to fail. Just learn from it. So it's okay to fail every now and then, and whether you know it or not, many of the greats have failed at some point in time in their lives and in their careers. Y'all, it is all right to fail every now and then. Can I just say that one more time? It's all right to fail every now and then. There's nothing wrong with being wrong every now and then. Imagine a world where you're always right. There would never be a need for change or to step up your game because you're always right. You never fail, so why change? You know they'll say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's exactly what we would live in a world where we didn't fix anything because everything was just going great. So every time you have to start over, you get the opportunity to do it 10 times better than you did the first time. So anytime you have to start all over in a new relationship, guess what? You get to do it better. You have to start all over with a new job. You get to do it 10 times better than you did the first time. So that's why I say you've got to learn to find the good in every bad situation. So failure is the perfect opportunity for your breakthrough. You will be forced to look at what went right and what went wrong. Now you can spend all your time focusing on the things that went right. So when you, and this is what I tell people all the time, and y'all excuse me for sweating, but I have these hot lights beaming on me. When I tell you they're hot, I need y'all to believe me. So I'm trying to get this video done. So whenever you do your list and you have 2 columns, you have a column for what went right and a column for what went wrong. Or maybe you have 2 separate sheets of paper, however you choose to do that. What I need you to do is acknowledge what didn't go right and then put that to the side. We're not focusing on that. We want to focus on, when you have your column or your separate sheet of paper with what did not go well, put that off to the side because we don't want to focus on that. Where your mind goes, that's where your body goes. So we want to focus on what went right. And then let's look at the things that went right and figure out how we can take each and every one of those line items up a notch or 2 or 3 or 4 or 10. Do you understand what I'm saying? So here is a quote by Wendell Phillips that says, "What is defeat? Nothing but education." Y'all, let me say that one more time. What is defeat? Nothing but education. Nothing but the first steps to something better. I need to say that one more again because somebody in the back of the room missed it. What is defeat? It's nothing but education. Nothing but the first steps to something better. You guys, this is powerful. Number 5, what is right is what works. It doesn't matter how fast or how slow you squat that weight. As long as you break parallel and you get up, the lift is good. Can I say that again? Because I need you all to get this in your mind. You're at a powerlifting meet, and I chose this because I do compete, and so the person who's up at the moment will get up. They're loading their weight, and they'll tell you. So they'll say, "Judy is on deck. Michelle, you're Barbara, you're next. Michelle, you're 2 in the hole." So I know how many people I have in front of me. And then when they load my weight up and they call my name, I step up to the platform, I get underneath that bar, I get tight. I take my breath, I walk back, get set up, let it out, take a couple of deep breaths, and then usually the third time I take that breath in, I go and I squat it down, and then I power it up as fast as I can. Even if I'm moving slow, bam, I'm going to lock it out. And then that head judge will tell me to rack it. Usually he or she will say, rack it. And then I walk the weight in. Your spotters are helping you bring that bar in. You rack the weight, and you see 3 white lights. Sometimes you may see 2 white lights. But the thing is that as long as I broke parallel, then the lift is good. And all you need to get is 2 white lights, because it's always going to be that one judge that wants to give you a red light. But that's all right. As long as you get 2 white lights, that lift is good. Do you understand what I'm saying? What's right is what works. Hello, somebody. So you should always be thinking progress, not perfection. That's where I was going with all of that. Perfection is always relative. Do you understand that? Perfection is relative because perfection is what you deem perfection to be. Now, I go to my competition. I'm squatting that weight. I get down in the bucket and I'm powering up, and it's taking me forever to get there. But as long as that bar continues to go up, guess what? Then the judge is not going to tell you to rack it until you get all the way up and you lock it in place. Then he or she's going to tell you to rack it. So now for some people, that may not have been perfection, because I guess for all intents and purposes, perfection is when you can power down in that bucket and shoot up the weight. That's beautiful right there. You rack it, you got 3 white lights or 2 white lights. But when it doesn't look good, you have to really fight. And I'm going to tell y'all something. I've had some competitions where I had to fight with that weight, because typically your third attempt is a weight that your coach, or my coach anyway, believes that I can get, because he'll say that you're going to have to really dig in for this one. You're going to have to put out. So I know that whatever that number is, it's a number that I've never touched before. And that's all right. Because as long as I don't know what that number is, I don't stress over it. But I know that he gave it to me because he believes that I can get it. So guess what? It may not have been perfect, but I got it. And the lift was good. Now again, perfection is relative, because it was perfect to me because I got the white lights. But to somebody else, they may say, "Oh God, that was horrible." Like sometimes you are coming up and the bar tends to lean to one side or may lean to the other. But as long as you keep moving, you lock that bar out at the top, it's perfect. It's perfect to you. But again, other people may not see it that way. So always remember that perfection is relative. And here's a quote by Ding. I don't know how to say the last name, but it'll be in the description box. And it says, "I don't care if the cat is black or white, so long as it catches mice." You have a mouse problem in your house. You don't care if that cat is black, white, orange, green, blue, brown, or purple. You just want it to catch the mice so you can get rid of them. Number 6, sometimes the problem is a great opportunity. So the best men are not those who have waited for chances, but who have taken them, besieged chance, conquered the change, and made chance the servitor. And this quote is by E.H. Chapin. So essentially, what this is saying is that sometimes that problem is the opportunity that you needed. That sometimes that problem will open up a door that you didn't even know needed to be open. Sometimes that problem is a great way to say, you know what, we've been talking about doing A, B, C, X, Y, Z, and because of HIJKLMNOP, now we can go and do A, B, and C. So always, again, look at your problem as an opportunity to do something different or something better. Number 7, focus on something bigger than yourself. When you're frustrated trying to achieve your goals, don't sit there and just complain that you don't have help or you can't find your way out of that situation. No. No, no, no. I especially say this if you haven't even tried. If you haven't tried, what are you complaining for? Shut your mouth if you haven't even tried. Everybody you know that has succeeded has had to overcome something. Everybody. And I'm not talking about just the well-known people like the Steve Harveys and the Les Browns and the Eric Thomases and the oh God, I can't think of the Oprah Winfreys and the Angel Richardsons and the what's the other lady's name? It escapes me at the moment. Anyway, it can be just somebody working at the corner 7-Eleven. Somebody working in the mailroom at the post office. Everybody has had to overcome something. And if you sit here and tell me that you haven't, you're telling the tale, because we all overcome something. They didn't get knocked down and decided to just stay there. Keep in mind, if you want movement, you have to create it by getting up and getting started. So number 7, we said, was focus on something bigger than yourself. Let me tell you something. When life knocks you down, and I'm not wishing anything bad on anybody, but when life knocks you down, it either has already done that, it's in the process of doing that, or somewhere down the line, it will do that. Because that's just the way life is, sweetie. You do not get to come in this world and leave this world and not have life knock you down. Some people can write a book on all the times that life has knocked them down because it's happened so many times. Some people it's only been a few times. But you live long enough, like I said, I always like to tell people, if you haven't experienced it already, keep on living, because eventually you will. And that's just a part of life. But when you get knocked down, you have got to decide that this is bigger than you. If this is bigger than you, if you have children, if you have children, this is bigger than you. Okay, life blindsided you. It knocked you on your tail. Guess what? You have little people watching you. You might even have teens watching you. So you know what you have to do. You have to get up, brush yourself off, and keep it moving. You can't let life knock you down and then just stay there. You just cannot. Why would you want to do that? That's not setting a good example for them. There's always somebody watching you. There's somebody that's always watching you. They are cheering for you. They're pulling for you. They're rooting for you. All of that good stuff. And they want you to succeed. So if you get knocked down and you don't think, okay, this is bigger than me, look how many people you're going to be disappointing and letting down. And you might not even know those people. You might not even know. A lot of them you will know, but most of them you won't know. So all I'm saying to you is, don't complain about your situation and do nothing at all, because that situation that you're in is much bigger than you are. And then I said, keep in mind, if you want movement, you have to create it by getting up and getting started. Simple as that. And here's a quote by Leroy Percy, and it says, a man's job is to make the world a better place to live in, so far as he is able, always remembering the results will be in something or other, and to attend to his own soul. Yeah, I can't pronounce this, but anyway, I'm going to put it in the description box. So this is powerful. And here's another quote that I wanted to share, and it says, the impediment to action advances Action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Ooh, y'all, that's powerful. What stands in the way becomes the way. And this quote is by Marcus Aurelius. So let me do a quick recap, and I promise I will let you be. So today we talked about how to turn your challenges into opportunities. So right now, even as I'm talking about this, if you are facing a challenge, no matter how big or small, I need you to sit down with your journal. Mine is not near me, but with your journal, with your pen, piece of paper or something, and I need you to write down that challenge or those challenges, and then I need you to write down how you can turn it into an opportunity. And then I told you of the Zen story about the king who had gotten tired of his subjects being soft and entitled, and he puts this big boulder in the middle of the road to see how people would react to it. Most people didn't even try. They turned around, went on back home. Some tried just a little bit and said, "Oh, I won't budge," and gave up. Well, one man happened to come along, and he tried to push it, and it was too heavy. So he went into the woods, and he got a stick and put it underneath the rock to use it for leverage so that he could wedge it, and he was able to move the rock finally. And he found a bag with a purse rather with filled with gold coins, and there was a note from the king that said, "The obstacle in the path becomes the path." Never forget, within every obstacle is an opportunity to improve your condition. And then I gave you some steps. Number one, I said change your perspective. Let me tell you something. It always starts with changing your perspective. If you see yourself as down and out, then honey, that's exactly what you want to be. If you see yourself having reached the end of the road and there's nothing more you can do, well, then that's exactly what it's going to be. You have got to change your perspective. I can't change it for you, and neither can anybody else. That is something that you have to do. And then number two, and don't forget, don't worry, I put all the quotes in the description box. Number two, I said find the positive in your negative. Anytime there's a negative situation or situations that come up in your life, you better find that positive. You better find that positive. Okay, so you quit your job, or you were asked to leave your job that you had been at, and you know, you've always done great work, but maybe you made a mistake or two, and because of that you were asked to leave. Well, guess what? The negative is that you don't have a job, but the positive is now you can go out and look for something better, because you knew you weren't happy with that job and hadn't been for a long time anyway. You just went to that job every day because it provided you with the paycheck. Amen, somebody? So now the positive is you can go out there and find you something better. Number three, I said always keep moving. Never stand still. Life is going to blindside you. It is going to beat you to your knees from time to time, but you have always got to give up. You have got to get up, dust yourself off, and keep going. Let me tell you a little secret. Being a single parent, I had to figure out how to keep going. Because there was a time where I had my good government job, I worked a part-time job, and then I had to come home and be a full-time mom. And I'm so thankful for my family, my mom, my dad, and my sister, and my brother at the time, because he wasn't married at that time. But I'm so thankful for them because I had help. A lot of people don't have that. But I had to keep going. I couldn't say, well, you know, my daughter's father's not in their life, so what am I going to do? What I'm going to do? No, I didn't have that opportunity. I didn't have the option to do that. That's why even now to this day, my daughter's 33 years old, and she will always tell you that her mama is strong, both physically and mentally, because I didn't let life happen and just sit there with my arms folded and decide I'm going to collect benefits from the state. The devil is a lie. The devil is a lie. And trust me when I say this, I'm not knocking anybody that chooses to do that. That is your choice. I'm just saying that it's not for me. And number four, it's okay to fail. Just learn from it. Anytime you fail in life, you need to learn from it. Again, go to your journal, and this is where you put pen to paper and you say, okay, ABC happened, but what did I learn from it? Make a list, bullet points of all the things that you learned from that. Because guess what? Once you learn from those things, I promise you, you won't repeat them. You may make some other mistakes, but you're not going to repeat those. Number five, what's right is what works. Doesn't matter how fast or how slow you're going. It doesn't have to be perfect, because perfection is relative. As long as you get to your goal. I talked about the squatting at the competition. The goal is to Get in the bucket. And if you're not sure what that is, you have to look that up. But essentially, it's where your glutes drop lower than your knees and power up with that weight. And you try doing that with 270 some pounds or more on sitting on your traps and your body weight. It's not always the easiest thing. But again, perfection is relative. As long as it's right for you, that's all right. We're not looking for perfection. Number 6, sometimes the problem is a great opportunity. You ever notice this? How I notice how there have been businesses that had to close for this pandemic, but guess what? That was a great opportunity, because those business owners now have other businesses or another business that's flourishing. Or maybe because they couldn't be open and have customers come inside, they took their business completely online. Something they had never thought about doing it. So there's always something great, a great opportunity waiting because of the result of a problem. You just have to know how to find it. Number 7, focus on something bigger than yourself. When life happens, you don't get down and just give up, because there are people that are counting on you. There are people that need you to do what you said you were going to do. Not just, oh, I'll do it as long as everything is good. Now, life happens. Well, I ain't doing nothing. No, you don't get to do that. You have family members, you have friends, you have people that you don't even know that admire you from afar. So it's not about you. Take yourself out of that. This is bigger than you. And so that's it, you guys. I hope something I said is helpful to you and helps you to deal with situations when they come up. No, you didn't ask for it, but guess what? It is what it is. And what you're going to do is take a bad situation, flip the script, and make something good come out of that. Make those people that thought they were doing something to you look and go, well, I'll be damned. How did they do this? Or how did they do that? Yeah, because see, what you thought you were doing to hurt me, God said I had something better for you anyway. I just needed you to let go of what was over there so I could give you what's right here. Thank you. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, actually just thank you to all of you for giving me a few minutes of your time to share that information. If it's your first time watching my video, thank you so much for joining me. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to tap that bell, because I don't want you to miss anything. And if this is not your first rodeo, welcome back, you guys. I've missed you. So glad to have you back. You all know the drill. You know my spiel. I can't do what I do without each and every one of you. And I love you all no matter what. I love you to the moon and back and then some. And not only that, I love you when nobody else even likes you. You can take that to the bank and cash it in, because that's always going to be good with me. I'm always going to love you even when nobody else likes you. And guess what? I'm going to love you even when you can't love me back. Hello, somebody. I'm going to love you even when you have nothing else to offer me. That's another video for another time. I got a little happy there. So I want you all to be the reason that someone feels welcomed, seen, heard, valued, loved, and supported. Until our next motivational moment, take care.